Thanks, Francis. There's limited room to manoeuvre as the 2019 budget speech introduces measures to improve tax revenue without resorting to higher taxes. Finance Minister Tito Mboweni's budget speech highlights the lowest tax increases in 5 years. This year's tax revenue has been revised downwards by 15 billion rand, and the tax shortfall is currently 42.8 billion rand. Let's speak to a tax expert now. Ernie Lai King, MD at One Road Consulting, joins me in studio. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. One of those 6 fundamental prescripts of this year's budget is increasing tax collection.
Well, the tax collection, of course, is what is the petrol that makes the economy grow. And we all know that that's been a big problem because of the problems at South African Revenue Service. So what we've seen in the budget was really a kind of no panic type of budget. There wasn't any major tax increases or any shocks in the budget. It was a typical pre-election budget. The only real tax increases will be from what we call fiscal drag, with all the wages and salaries going up because of inflation and pushing you into the next bracket, which will result in you paying more tax. And generally it's traditional to give some kind of relief for fiscal drag. In this particular case there's been none. So other interesting aspects on the tax side was that although we had that percentage increase in VAT and obviously an increase in VAT receipts, the net VAT position is down because the VAT refunds, which under the previous SARS administration was deliberately withheld to make the figures look better, that was unblocked and all the VAT refunds were given. So even though the VAT increase happened, the net VAT take has reduced.
Talk to us about what a tax gap is and what Judge Davis will be involved in dealing with this tax gap.
As far as the tax gap is what the fiscus believes it should be collecting and what it actually is collecting. And the tax gap is really the tax leakage, the leakage that is not collected. Now there's been various projections and estimates of what the tax gap is. I think over the years the tax gap has reduced because of greater respect for SARS, but more recently that has deteriorated, and that tax morality has deteriorated simply because the taxpayer sees all the tax that it pays from its hard-earned earnings and efforts are wasted. They're wasted or stolen, and nothing is done with that money. So even though Minister Mboweni says tax paid is the right thing, paying tax is the right thing to do, even more right to do is don't waste taxpayers' money and don't steal it.
We've seen people trying to shore up SARS. We've seen an inquiry into SARS, Judge Nugent making those recommendations referred to both in SONA and in the budget speech. We're expecting a new SARS commissioner soon. Ideas of who it might be?
That's anybody's guess. The gentleman who's currently in the acting position is Mark Kingon. He's died in the will. That's the only job he's had as far as I know. His father was a previous commissioner. He knows the SARS. He's seen them come and go. He's a died in the will SARS man. He's not a bad fellow to take over the reins, but we'll wait and see.
So sin tax. We've seen that a pack of cigarettes goes up by about R1.14. Excise duty on a can of beer goes up by about 12 cents. This happens every year. We see an increase. Is it going to discourage people from partaking in these, like my colleague was just saying? Is it going to help bring in more tax, or people just carry on? Well,
it's expected to bring in 1 billion. But people have particular habits. I don't know if the additional increase is going to discourage them. I really don't. I don't have the statistics at hand. But when we talk about increase in tax, doing some taxes, doing this with taxes, etc., increasing taxes there, and playing with the various options, we passed that by doing a little bit here and doing a little bit there. All we're doing, quite honestly and frankly speaking, is just moving the deck chairs around on the Titanic. We passed that. We have to look at the economy, and it's all about the economy. And the budget speech today was really about 3 things. It was about Eskom, it was about corruption, and it was about government expenditure. And what we're going to see and what has been proposed are not quick fixes. This is long-term, medium to long-term fixes before we see any proper results. But it's about time that we started to get on the road with these particular fixes.
If you had to be the finance minister up there today giving that budget speech, what would you have said that perhaps Tito Mboweni didn't say today?
I think we need to identify the particular causes that have already been identified by the World Economic Forum as to what is holding South Africa's economy back. And if you'll allow me, I'll just quickly give you the top 10. Corruption, crime and theft, government instability, tax rates, inefficient government bureaucracy, poor work ethic in national labour force, restrictive labour regulations, inadequate educated workforce, inflation, access to finance. Those are the first 10 that have been identified by the World Economic Forum. We must ask, how does the budget address that, those particular weaknesses?
I know you've said the taxes and the sin taxes that we're doing is not going to have big action. Let's talk about the fuel levy and the road accident fund. What do you make of what came out of the budget today? It's
tinkering. We're tinkering with this and tinkering with that, and the message there was, we're not panicking, we're not doing any knee-jerk. A good message to send. The markets didn't particularly react badly. I mean, initially there was a slide in the rand, but it's recovered now. I don't know if we are going to find a downgrade in terms of Moody's. I think there might very well be a wait and see, because he's sending the right messages. He underplayed it, but the messages there are very serious messages, and there's a lot of hard work to be done. A lot of hard work, and he said it's going to require a lot of courage. It's going to require a lot of political will. And we have in South Africa, similar to a dysfunctional family. The family is not working. The brothers and sisters are not talking to each other, and they're fighting. The head of the house has to pull everybody together and move in the right direction for the good of the family, in this case South Africa.
Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. Ernie Lai King is an MD at One Road Consulting. Francis.